Hi everyone, so as promised, here is my second video and it is an update on my hobby vlog for the 1000 point Sylvaneth army. I have made some progress on this. I've started painting some of those dryads that were primed in black, and I'll show you a couple of those. And I've also practically constructed the tree lord, so I'll show you him in a bit. So what's left to build from this box is the 16 dryads. I've already got a branch which is this person here, or tree here, and so I've already got one of those made up, so I can just put some primer on that at some stage. What I'll do now is I'll show you the tree lord and where we're at with him. And there is a bit of an issue with the figure. I generally do like the Ents from Lord of the Rings are possibly my favourite characters, and so the Sylvaneth and previous Wood Elf armies that Games Workshop have done have always been a favourite. This tree lord, it looks pretty good, but there is something on him that really does my head in, and I'll show you that, so I'll get him now. Okay, so this is the legs for the tree lord. I'll show you the torso and the head in a bit. He's not attached to the base, but he stands really well. But on the back of his feet, there is something that reminds me of some shoes I used to have back in the 70s, and I'll just show you what I mean. Look at the heels on that. I don't know why they did that. Obviously it makes the figure quite stable. But I would have preferred for the foot to be flared out at the front and the back. So what I'm hoping to do is to take those off. What I might do is, I'm going to take those off, and then I'm going to use some of the bits and bobs that are left over on the sprues to kind of make that more look like roots that he embeds in the ground as he walks, a bit like Treebeard does in Lord of the Rings. And I'll have to do it on the other side as well. There are 39 pieces to this figure altogether, but I really had to look at the instructions to try and understand where bits went. So that's the legs. So here's the torso and the arms. Now on this hand you can see a hole. What you put in there is there's like some vines that come shooting out. It's one of his attacks. I don't particularly like that. I prefer him to just be just look aggressive with these talons here and the claws on this hand, so I won't be adding those. There are some woodland creatures, there's like a bee and several other things, and I might have one kind of flying from his hand or something, making it look as if that's attacking whatever's trying to attack him. Well, the reason I've kept these separate is that I want to dry brush a lot of these figures, and this particular figure included, and so I think it's easier if I dry brush them in sections, because I haven't got the various branches and whatever obstructing the dry brush, so I thought it would be better to dry brush them in sections. I'll just show you the head. So this is his head, his face, and he's got like branches coming out of the top there. Obviously that's going to be the focal point of the build, I think, so I will try my best to do a nice job. Again, most of it will be dry brushing. Now, as I mentioned, I have already dry brushed 2 figures up to the standard that I would be happy to have them on the gaming board, but I may add some more to them, so I'll get those now and we'll have a look at them. So here's the first one. Very simple paint job on this. So they were sprayed black, dry brushed heavily with dryad bark, then a lighter dry brush of Doomball brown, then a lighter dry brush of Scrag brown, and then a final dry brush of Ushabti bone. What I've tried to do is the Ushabti bone is on the points on the talons, and on the upper surface of the head. What I've tried to do is keep the other colours reasonably muted, so that they're in shadow where obviously they're in shadow, and other parts I have tried to highlight, like the knee here and wherever. The whole army eventually will be an entourage for Draika Hamadreth, which is a special character in the Sylvaneth army, and her backstory is very sad. It is almost depressing, and Draika becomes very embittered of anything other than Sylvaneth, and she is almost in despair at the loss of the Sylvaneth realms. So she becomes very dark and whatever, and that's what I wanted to do with my figures for this army. I wanted to keep them dark and menacing as much as possible. Got a little nymph on the back here on the branch. I did paint that nymph up in a purple. You can see the wings are slightly lighter colour. I don't think it shows up too much, but again, I wanted to keep that dark menacing kind of look even to that. The eyes are picked out in yellow. So the second one is here, and a similar thing, same dry brushing colours, and just picking out the tips of the talons and the face. So that's it, guys, for this update. Obviously I'll crack on and do some more. Thanks ever so much for watching. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch up with you soon.